she'll know I'm a mighty, mighty man. I heard the news, there's good rockin' tonight. Well, the Deacon John and Elder
I'm John Moore, but everybody calls me Deacon John. And this is New Orleans, where I was born and raised. I don't know why music is such a part of New Orleans, but it sure is. You can hear music in the streets. It's coming out of people's houses, in the churches, the bars, the nightclubs, even at funerals.
Going back home, T9A to the land of the beautiful queens. I'm going back home to my baby. I'm going back to New Orleans.
Music is just everywhere in New Orleans. The reason why is because we have so many different kinds of people here.
I've been to Cuba, South America way. I've been to Euro, Mexico is okay. Over in France, the chicks are really fine. I get my cakes below the Mason-Dixon line. Going back
French,
home,
Spanish, African, Caribbean, Asian, you name it, New Orleans has it. New Orleans is a melting pot of all cultures.
There's a cathedral. Like so many rhythm and blues singers, I started singing in the church. My mother taught me how to sing because she said I had the loudest voice when I cried of all the 13 children she had. She took me under a fig tree and cut my nails when I was an infant. And according to the Creole tradition, if you cut the baby's nails under a fig tree, the child would grow up to become a singer.
Going back home, T9A to the land of the beautiful queens. I'm going back home to my baby. I'm going back to New Orleans.
Now, New Orleans is a strange place, man. Over here in the West Bank, this is Algiers and Araby. You remember the Dixieland song, The Sheik of Araby? It was not about a sheik, and it wasn't about Arabia. It's about some cat who lived on the West Bank.
I grew up in the Marigny neighborhood with my parents and 12 brothers and sisters on just one side of a shotgun duplex. We used to sit on the stoops and sing and BS.
Well, when you think about the place that music had in our lives, you know, you have to say that it was the saving grace, more or less, for a lot of things. With 13 kids and 2 adults in this little house, what, 2 rooms and a kitchen and a bathroom?
And a radio.
I got my start, listening to the Howlin' Wolf on a crystal radio because my mama used to turn the lights off, and the only way I could hear the Howlin' Wolf and Willie Mae Thornton singing Hound Dog, I had my crystal radio on.
Deke here was the one that kept everything light for us. I mean, we had childhood diseases. You imagine that with 13 kids going around to everybody sticking all that.
You get the mumps, then you get the mumps.
And everybody get the mumps. But Deke was the one who kept it light because we could always count on him. Either to go through some kind of little staging type thing, comic relief he was for us. Not just the music he gave us, but also the comic relief. He could tell jokes and have everybody falling on. He didn't even have to tell the joke. You remember this one? You could just point your finger at somebody. You. It was like a little game. We didn't have to say anything. It was an embarrassment thing.
That's right. And when you got a spanking, everybody would go around and go, you.
Cosimo was like the only studio in town. There were a few others, but he had all the business in there because he has a proven track record of hit recordings. You know, Cosmo out here, you know, when Roy Brown, Shirley, and Lee, all the pioneers of rhythm and blues, you know, Cos recorded them, you know, and like to this day, Cos say, well, it was just easy. Say, I let the musicians do all the work, and I just, I didn't have to do all anything.
So this was the famous Cosmo Studios on Governor Nichols.
Yeah, I tell you, it was a great time. The guys used to come park their car in here, and we had a room over here with the disc machine in it in the office, and over there was a little room where guys could do their arranging and writing and get their stuff together. When the war ended, the guy I was in business with, in this business, decided we'd put a store on the corner of Rampart and Domain, and it was his idea also that we put a room in the back for people to record. It fell to me to run it because I was a little bit better technically oriented than he was. And like Topsy, it just grew. From doing little personal recordings for people who wanted to say something to their grandmother on her birthday to bands that wanted to do things so they could hear themselves, to stuff that started being used for commercial records. Everybody used to come and hang around there all the time. You know, there was always a party going on. You know, different artists would come to see the other musicians record, and a lot of them thought, you know, just by hanging around the studio, they might get a chance at, you know, recording, or somebody might discover them, you know, because everybody was coming around with their songs and all, listen to this, listen to that, and what you think of this, and there was a real cultural exchange of ideas between the musicians, you know, because a lot of the music wasn't written, you know. They'd just give you a sketch, you know, and the musicians just made up the parts right on the spot. Particularly Dave and in later years other people, they wrote the songs, or they brought people in who wrote the songs, who would then demonstrate it to the artist, usually just a vocal artist, or in Fat's case, a pianist and a vocal artist, and they'd sort of play with it and feel like they had a grip of it, and then the band would start to work out parts. We called them head arrangements because that's really what they were. Good Rocking Tonight by Roy Brown was the first record in my experience that showed how a confluence of music genres can develop a new thing. It was blues, it was big band, it was gospel, and it had that pounding small band rhythm thing that was becoming very popular. So for me, it was the first rock and roll record. The jump blues era incorporated elements of the big band swing horn sections. You know, you hear the riffs that back up the singers, and the call and response thing with the riffs, like Joe Turner or Smiley Lewis. He said, la, 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 she calls me her sweet papa. And then the horns would answer them, da, 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 da.
She's got a sweet disposition. She always wears a smile. But when it comes to loving, she really puts it down. La 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 la. She calls me her sweet papa.
What you found as that kind of music grew and became commercially successful, that people like Art Roop, Specialty Records, who did Little Richard and Tutti Frutti and that kind of thing, and Lou Chudd with Imperial Records, who did Fats Domino, that they were looking for something new to do, but they also were sort of fans of the music. And this happened with most of the guys who were the independent record producers of those early years. They did it as much out of love of the music as they did out of it being a way to maybe make a living or some money. It was fun just to come to work, man, because once a week, anyhow, we did a chart record. People like Fats Domino and Little Richard and Irma Thomas. It was just great. When I moved J&M over here, I decided to call it Cosmos because when I was back at J&M, everybody was calling it Cosmos anyhow. The guys were doing really great music, wonderful stuff, happy stuff, spreading joy, and it was in spite of the tough times in society. We really enjoyed our work. We tried to make everybody else happy.
You know, segregation was just an awful thing to go through while we had all this glorious, joyful, uplifting music being produced in the studios. When you got out the studio, you had to face the reality of living in a segregated society, and you couldn't go to get a sandwich down the street.
Just think of all of the great writers and producers we had here, man. You know, guys like Bumps Blackwell and Ahmet Ertegun and Jerry Wexler, Allen Toussaint, and of course the great Dave Bartholomew.
He's a writer, a producer, and a trailblazer. Please acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Bartholomew. Take a bow, Dave. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. You know, Dave wrote many jump tunes, but not many people know he was also a great ballad writer. And this is one of his best.
Someday you want me like I want you. Oh, but I'll be gone with somebody new. Someday you will cry the way I did. You hang your head, but tears can't be hid. You walk the floor dead every night. Not a thing will be going right. Your nerves will keep you in despair. You'll be pulling out your hair. Someday you will cry the way I did. You're going to suffer the way you done for me.
How'd you come up with a song like Someday?
You know something? After being halfway successful with tunes like I Hear You Knocking, One Night with You, and Blue Monday, Smiling Lewis with the big voice, man, I thought I'd try something different, like Someday. Big band sound. I wanted to sound like Dickie Chase, who had the biggest band in town at that time. Oh man, what a band. All right.
Okay, how you doing? How you like this? A great array of international celebrities at this one table. Right. I bet you guys are talking music.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
And I know they're talking food. I know they're talking food here.
It was like a place where musicians hung out. After the gig, everybody go by Dookie's and get something to eat, you know, and we take food home with us, you know, and Dookie would cash our checks. Like we had a check from a fraternity or something, you know, they write us checks for a gig. Everybody go by Dookie cash your check, and then you buy some food from him and take home, you know. We call it the peacemaker, because you could go home 5 o'clock in the morning, your wife wouldn't get angry if you brought her the peacemaker, like a bowl of Dookie's gumbo.
I love to cook, especially the way we cook in New Orleans. The way I'm cooking this gumbo, you put a little bit of this, a little bit of that in there. Somewhat like those musicians pull their music together, you know. They can create music, improvise. We do that with food. They make good music, make people happy. I cook good food, make people happy.
The money wasn't important then, you know. We were all just
young guys just having fun, you know, and the money was like secondary, you know, and we get in the studio, and half the time we didn't know what we were recording. Allen just said, tune number one, didn't have a title yet. And we didn't know what the lyrics were, you know. We just played a track, you know, and everything Allen did, he wrote out, you know. Even the bass lines, he wrote all the bass lines out, note for note, and he had to play it his way. That's why I say he kind of patterned himself after Dave Bartholomew, because it was either his way or a highway.
I usually say that we recorded enthusiasm first, and then we checked to see whether there was talent. However, they were really talented. It's just that there was so much spirit back then. Everyone was so glad to be getting involved because aside from Dave Bartholomew being a trailblazer, because he really has always been a trailblazer here, this was a new group of people coming into being, so the enthusiasm was popping.
So I saw all the people come through his house, like Irma Thomas, Benny Spellman, Lee Dorsey, Escarita, the Showman. Man, Allen has, Betty Harris. He had just an incredible roster of artists back then. He just kept adding on more, and he was really good at judging real talent, you know, because he'd be quick to tell you, oh, you never making this business, man, you know, and just whoosh, send you out the door, you know.
I had been a writer for a company, and I started when I was underage, the first publishing company. However, when I became of age, it was time to change companies and change the contract. I knew when we were dealing with contracts that they were going to spend a lot of time from one lawyer's desk to the next, and while they were doing that, I didn't want to sit dormant, so I assumed a pseudonym name, and there was no name I could trust more than my mother's maiden name. In case they got the writer's royalty mixed up, I wouldn't mind it going to my mother. So I used my mother's maiden name, which was Naomi Neville, and that's how that got going. And I must say, after I began using that pseudonym name, it adopted a style of its own. In fact, some songs, when I was writing them, it says, this is a Naomi Neville song, not an Allen Toussaint song. Lipstick Trace is an interesting story there. Benny Spellman was the artist on Lipstick Traces, and the other side was a fortune teller. But Lipstick Traces came as a result of Benny's conversation with me about him singing on Mother-in-Law. He was the lower voice on Mother-in-Law. And Benny convinced Ernie Cato and myself and many others that the reason it was a hit because of his part on it. And why shouldn't I write him a song where he can use that kind of voice? So after Benny bothered me over and over for days and days, I wrote him a song that he could get the same kind of mother-in-law, don't leave me no more, thus Lipstick Traces. Pretty brown eyes, your wavy hair, I won't go home no more 'cause you're not there. I've got it bad like I told you before. I'm so in love, come back and leave me no more. Lipstick traces on a cigarette. Every memory lingers with me yet. I've got it bad like I told you before. I'm so in love with you, don't leave me no more. Leave me no more, don't leave me no more. Leave me no more, don't leave me no more. Leave me no more. And we're satisfied, Benny. A lot of our songs was being covered by international and national artists, especially during the time of the British invasion.
which was wonderful for folk like Dave Bartholomew and myself, because we always had writer's royalty. But many of the artists, the local artists who did the original versions, were lost in the mix.
Well, like Pat Boone, man, you know, singing Ain't That a Shame? It was a shame. But I was laughing all the way to the bank.
You broke my heart when you said we'll part. Ain't that a shame?
Let's sing this song.
My tears fell like rain.
Take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Break another little bit of my heart now, honey. Take another little piece of my heart now, baby. You know you got it if it makes you feel good. Take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Break another little bit of my heart now, honey. Have another little piece of my heart now, baby. You know you got it if it makes you feel good.
The very first time I heard the song, done originally by Miss Irma Franklin, A Piece of My Heart, I knew for sure that those were the kind of songs that I wanted to sing. And I'd like to dedicate this next song to our very own wonderful Irma, Miss Irma Thomas.
Didn't I make you feel like you were the only man? Didn't I give you everything that a woman possibly can? With all the love that I give you, it's never enough. I'm gonna show you, baby, that a woman can be tough. So come on, come on, come on, come on and take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Break another little bit of my heart now, honey. Have another little piece of my heart now, baby. You know you got it if it makes you feel good. Out on the street, and you know deep down in your heart that ain't right. No, you never ever hear me when I cry and die. I tell myself that I can't stand the pain, but when you hold me in your arms, I said it again. So come on, come on, come on, come Have another little piece of my heart now, baby. Take another little piece of
Titi Boutte comes from a musical family. Like a lot of musicians in New Orleans, they're out of musical families. Her sister was a singer, her mother sang, she sang, her uncle sang. You got a whole family of them that came out, as singers.
You know you got it if it makes you feel good.
When I started recording at Cos, which was late 50s, early 60s, there were a few women, backup singers, that would hang around Cos whenever they would need some backup singers in there. Basically, there weren't that many female vocalists, featured vocalists on the market when I got into the business in this area.
Irma Thomas was a brick house, man. A brick house, man. Because we didn't call it brick house back then, but Irma Thomas was a waitress in a club I played called the Pimlico Club. And Irma would be serving drinks, and she'd get a little break or something. She'd say, "Can I come up and sing a song,
Writers-wise, the only one that I'm familiar with would be Dorothy LaBostre. In fact, she wrote my very first record, Don't Mess With My Man. On the same day I arrived for my audition, she was there, and she taught me the song that same day, and a couple of days later I recorded it.
All of them were. You Can Have My Husband, Please Don't Mess With My Man was a killer song.
You can have my husband, but please don't mess with my man. Now, can you imagine a 17-year-old kid singing something like that? But I did it. I knew what I was talking about.
She came up with songs all the time, and they were a little risque. That was her background in songwriting. They were real risque. They had to clean up Tutti Frutti. I remember that. She tailor-made it for Little Rich.
Back when I was getting started, I used to come by Allen's house. Well, Allen and my first husband, well, actually, he was my second husband, they were good friends. And we used to go visit Allen at his mom's house because he was still living at home with his parents. And I used to visit them often because he used to do a lot of writing. And I had already signed on with Minute at the time. And whenever they needed a female vocalist, I was there. And I learned a lot of things with Allen and his piano in his front room by his mom's house. And even when we'd go to Cosmo's, there was a piano there.
Well, I think the piano was kind of key in New Orleans records, whether you're listening to Fats Domino, Huey Smith, Allen Toussaint. It didn't matter. All of the records was basically based around piano more than other cities, which was based on something else. And the groove was different here, and that was because of Professor Longhair. All of them piano players and a bunch of them, James Booker, all the cats, in between takes would play Professor Longhair's Tipatina or something on the cue that let's play it more funky. So I was playing guitar sessions. Deke, myself, Justin Adams, we was all guitar players. And if I hadn't got shot in my finger in Jacksonville, I'd probably still be a guitar player. But Booker taught me how to play organ for a gig. And that's when I started playing, professional, but I had produced records with Professor Long, played on gigs with Fess, and that kind of, he pushed me into, showed me, like, when you know you won't smile or gone down on $1 today. That's Tipatina. You know, Professor Longhair created an original New Orleans piano style. That was Tipatina, one of his signature tunes. Right now, we're gonna get Deke back out here to do another fest tune for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge the family of Roland Bird, Professor Longhair. Baby, no buts and no baby. Darling, you're driving me crazy. What have I done to you? Honey, I ain't got no money. Lately you've been acting funny. I can't do a thing with you. Every time that we go out, this is all you talk about. Things to did and things to do. What you want poor little me to do? What you wanna?
Dr. John and Marie Laveau were the king and queen of voodoo in New Orleans. Dr. John was the most feared man in New Orleans because he put a hoodoo on you, a curse on you, or something like that. So everybody was scared of him and Marie Laveau. They were like the king and queen of voodoo, and that's where Dr. John got his name from. Dr. John was also a very great songwriter. Matter of fact, he was the one that wrote the song on the Jump Blues album.
You know it's hard to love another man's girlfriend. You can't see her when you wanna. Got to see her when you can. You might be fighting a losing battle, but you're gonna have so much fun trying to win. Something like that, you know, but it was just a typical plot.
Cos, you had a microphone that you kept in a box with a special gold wrapping on it. And I remember you only brought it out when the really big-time singers came into the studio.
You ought to know about those hits because you played guitar on them. But I got the microphone, it was a Telefunken, which was a very special, very well-made microphone, best at the time. And a congregation in town bought it so that the cantor would be the best sounding cantor amongst the synagogues that they were competing against. And somebody in their congregation decided, well, maybe they shouldn't be using a microphone made by Germans. They sold it to me cheap, and I went on to use it for a lot of hits.
The technology back there was relatively simple by today's standards, but it was the musicians, writers, and artists who was making the real advancements.
The real job for me was I'd stand in the studio and listen to what was going on and go into the control room and try to repeat that, replicate that sound. I felt my job was to be transparent.
He wasn't into all that, turn this up, do this, that, and different. He just said it and let the musicians do what they had to do, and the rest is just history.
Everybody that knows me knows I don't feel like I'm that important. What I really feel like is I was the right place at the right time, and that a lot of great performers made me look good.
Well, back in the swing times, most of the tenor players, especially during that time, used to use what was called a fat boy. different name brands, but basically they were large-size hard rubber mouthpieces, and they produced a real round, mellow kind of sound, which was a good blend for a lot of guys on stage. This is a link. This is one of those kind of mouthpieces, to give you an example. Just more of a round, mellow kind of sound. But later on the scene, people like Lee Allen and Ray Tyler came around, and they used a much narrower mouthpiece. Matter of fact, it was made out of stainless steel and had a smaller chamber. This is a plastic model of a metal, but it gets the same sound. But anyway, it was a lot more bite to it, a lot more projection, and they came out. The solos still stand. For example, this is one of Lee Allen's things. So good. Now that you're home, come let me hug you, come let me kiss you, come let me see what I've been missing. Feel so good. Now that you're home,
feel so fine to know that I'm on your mind. Oh, what a feeling to know you're feeling. Feels so good now. Please don't stop now. So glad now that you're home. So all I don't want since you've been gone.
Now I'm glad that you see that we were meant to be. Oh, feel so good now that you're home. Come let me hug you, come let me kiss you, come let me see what I've been missing. Feel so good now that you're home.
I tell you, my favorite three singers came out of New Orleans after Smiley Lewis was Aaron Neville, Chuck Carbo, and Johnny Adams. They was my favorite three. And then Art Neville. So, I mean, they was guy singers. They was undoubtedly my favorites.
Yeah, there are bells in my heart. There are stars in my eyes. I'm so in love with you. Blessed be the tie that binds. What joy and ecstasy. Oh, you're the one for me. Great day, there are bells in my heart.
Chuck, I can remember when the Carbo brothers had the best voices in town. Man, when I heard Bells in My Heart, I was just completely floored, man.
My brother Chick and I, we had a group called the Zion Harmonizers, and we would sing in the nightclubs on a Saturday night and go be like holy men on Sunday mornings in church, you know what I'm saying? I don't think the pastor liked it when he found out what we were doing, you know.
I think New Orleans music is all connected. You can't subdivide nothing from nothing else, because church, the second line, the funeral, parade, everything is one thing. But all of the music here is so overlapped. That's what made something special.
Oh, Jesus on the main line.
Tell him what you want.
Oh,
Jesus on the main line. Tell him what you want.
Jesus on the main line.
Tell him what you want.
Call him
up and tell him what you want.
Oh, Jesus on the main line.
Tell him what you want.
Jesus on the main line.
Tell him what you want.
Jesus on the main line.
Tell him what you want.
Call him up and tell him what you want.
What you want.
Jesus on the main line.
Tell him what you want.
Oh, Jesus on the main line. Tell him
what you want.
Jesus on the main line.
Tell him what you want.
Call him
up and tell him
what you want. What you want.
Call him up. Call him up. Tell him what you want. Call him up. Call him up. Tell him what you want. Call him up. Call him up. Tell him what you want. Call him up and tell him what you want. What you want.
Jesus on the main line.
Tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line.
Please
Tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line. Tell him what you want. Call him up and tell him what you want. What you want.
If you want your body healed,
tell him what you want.
If you want your body healed, tell him what you want. If you want your body healed, tell him what you want. Call him up
and tell him what you want. What you want.
Call him up. Call him up.
Tell him what you want.
Call him up.
Call him up.
Tell
him what you want.
Call him up. Call him up. Tell him
what you want.
Call him up.
Call him up
and tell him what you want.
What you want.
Jesus on the main line.
Tell him what you want.
Nobody but
Jesus on the main
when
line.
you need
Tell
him.
him what you want.
Call
Jesus on the main
Please
line.
call him.
Tell him what you want.
Call him up.
Call him up and tell him what you want. What you want.
But I give something to Jesus, I don't want no money.
Yeah.
Because my greater reward is in heaven.
That's right.
That's where we're going to get our reward.
You sound like a preacher, man.
Well, that's why they call me Deacon.
Religion was really a strong part of my mother's life. It was her salvation. My mother had 13 children, and she didn't work. So only my father was the primary breadwinner for the family. So my mother found salvation in religion, and she was a very devout Catholic. Throughout her life, she lived her religion to the letter. Matter of fact, you know, we used to say the rosary every evening at 6 o'clock. The rosary would come on the radio, and she'd gather all of us up and sit beside the radio, kneeling down and say the rosary.
But, you know, I go back a long way, you know, playing in the churches. I used to pull me out of school to go sing the funerals. And I sing the weddings on the weekend. You know, Holy Week comes up, you know, we had a May procession, and I sing on Good Friday. And they'd always pick me to sing the solos, you know, like at midnight mass, because they say I had the loudest voice in the choir.
Well, you know, good R&B singers all came out of the church.
Oh,
you know,
yes,
that's
indeed,
right.
man.
So they know how it goes, you know.
That's right, they know how it goes.
And
you know.
it's a fine thing to see that they, you
Mhm.
know, they got their start from there.
The Rolling Stones and all the other Monkeys and all these people came. That it was known as the British invasion.
Right.
They all the British group was coming in, and all of them patterned behind the black performers.
Right.
Chuck
You know,
Berry.
the Beatles admitted.
The Beatles, yeah, the Beatles too.
I mean, they got it from Little Richard.
Yeah, that's right.
They got that scream from
that's
Little
right.
Richard.
What you think
Little
about
Richard taught him all
What
that.
you think about Tom Jones?
Tom Jones too.
Well, you know, anytime you sing religious music, you know, it's really heartfelt. When you sing about God, you sing with a lot of feeling. you sing with a lot more soul and passion, and you know, when you sing about God, and it actually transfers when you sing in other forms of music like blues and rhythm and blues, all the power and the passion and the vocal and the music that you play, it's kind of transferred into other areas of music that you sing with a lot of feeling. One of these mornings, I'm going away. I experienced a lot of my fellow musicians and artists and entertainers who were dying at an early age, you know. And, I started singing at the funeral services, you know, and it just became, you know, one thing led to another. You know, I just became more and more involved singing in funeral services.
Maybe morning, not a noon, but I'm going to see the Father, and by his side to stand. There'll be no more sorrows, no sadness, just only complete gladness. But any day, I know that I am a going home. There I'll shout hallelujah, and your praises you name it all. Any day, I know that I am a going
The whole jazz funeral came from Africa. You know, this is how they would bury the dead. You know, they have a big ceremony. They would have a slow, mournful procession with the casket and the mourners, and we'd have what they call a second line, and that would be the people in the street. And we'd get to the point where the hearse would take the body to the cemetery. It's called that cutting the body loose. And at that point, they would break out into a joyful celebration. The music would change, you know, and all of a sudden, everybody's partying and dancing in the street because they cut the body loose and go into the cemetery, and they'd have like a big parade or procession of mourners and revelers in the street, you know, and everybody would get out dancing in the streets, and that's why you see all of these special kind of dances that New Orleans is famous for, because New Orleans has a syncopated beat. You know, it's not everything on 2 and 4.
Probably the second line too. Yeah. Sure, why not? Do a little second line.
Orleans is a crazy place. Music everywhere, second-line bands, and even in a bowling alley.
I know, Dave. I played it before, man. They have people dancing in front of you.
What?
And bowl on the side of you.
Oh, man. Well, big bands were more or less like for older people who would actually go to the nightclubs and cater to all the big bands, you know, not to name, only name a few, maybe Duke, Count Basie. You know what happened when the big band was coming to town? Man, the people would put on their best suit and their best dress, go out and get sophisticated to hear the big bands. But all at once, the younger generation started something different. They wanted to hear about the jump blues, and they wanted to hear about the Lindy Hop that was going on in New York City.
You know, I used to listen to records, man, with Hungry Williams, Smokey Johnson, and obviously Earl Palmer.
Oh, yeah, just indeed.
And them cats used to be doing this triplet thing. Well, you know.
Do I know? Yes,
Now, I
indeed.
never heard that on records before. That's something that y'all brought in, or?
I think that Earl Palmer actually created the thing, and we kept it going.
I tell you what, it worked.
Thank you very much.
In the swing bands, drummers used to play 4/4 notes to the bar, straight 4. Then, the music that they were doing at Cosimo, drummers like Charlie Williams, Smokey Johnson, and Earl Palmer, they started playing a syncopated beat in the bass drum. It came from the parade beats. In the swing bands, drummers used to play 1/4 note and 2/16 on the hi-hat. Then, New Orleans, these same guys started playing triplets on the hi-hat. They really changed the way drums were played in rock and roll music.
People are aware of their cultural heritage and they want to preserve it. And they're passing it down to their generations. You know, the kids learn it as they grow up and then they teach their families, you know. And that's what New Orleans is all about, preserving our heritage and our traditions. And we don't want that ever to die, because if that goes away, well, nobody would come to New Orleans anymore.
Mardi Gras is a fun time in New Orleans. People are all in a good mood and partying, and there's music all over. I've been playing this block party for over 25 years, and the people are always so friendly. They're all lawyers and doctors and professional people, and they just come out here and party. I've been playing gigs like this for over 40 years, since I was about 15. I still like doing it, and it's been pretty good to me. When you do something that you like to do, it's not so much like work.
I've always thought it was a gift making a living playing music, something that people love.
It is a gift, Allen. It reminds me of something that Count Basie said. An artist is as good as his last hit. And I have the experience of knowing people that have been successful and it was on high, then all of a sudden, no hits, and it's a big low. So you have to contain yourself in what you do.
Once I lived the life of a millionaire, spending my money, honey, I didn't care. Was taking my friends out for a mighty good time. And oh, I drank that good gin, champagne and wine. Oh, but just as soon as my money got low, I couldn't find no friends and I had no place to go. But if I ever get my hands on a dollar again, I'm gonna hold on till that eagle grin. 'Cause I found out that nobody wants you. Nobody wants you when they found out that you're down and out. When in your pocket, oh, there's not one penny. Oh man, all them good friends you thought you hadn't got any. Oh, just let you get up on your feet again. And here they all come telling you they're your long lost friends. But this I want to tell you, and about it I have no doubt. Nobody wants you. No, nobody needs you. No, no, no. Nobody wants you when you're down and out. Oh, I gotta say it for me this time. No, no, no. Nobody wants you, no, no, no. Nobody wants you when they found out that you're down and out. When in your pocket, there's not one penny. And all them good friends you thought you hadn't got any. But, oh, just let you get up on your feet again. And here they all come telling you they're your long lost friends. But this I want to tell you, and about it I got no doubt that nobody wants you. No, nobody needs you. No, 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 no. Nobody wants you when you're down and out. One, two, three. Well, now, baby, tell me how do you do? Ooh, Lord, baby, tell me how do you do? Well, I wanna say, baby, I really got news for you. Well, now, baby,
radio.